Teach me how to guard my heart, and do not allow me to wear the things that people have to say about what I've been through.
You are now listening to the voice of Tamar with Vanessa Santiago.
When you take the time to listen to my podcast, I am super grateful for that. And I never want to take that for granted. So I'm always going to say thanks. I was on Purposely Transforming, a podcast that you can find on all podcast platforms. We had a few discussions and we were talking about rejection.
We're talking about rejection and we're talking about healing in general. So if you are in your process of healing and you want just some encouragement, if you got a prayer request, because we're definitely going to pray out of this, put it in the comments, please. So one of the questions to you was, how do you deal with people who may try to use your story against you, or even just your transparency? Because there's so many things you share outside of your, sexual violations. So how do you deal with people who may try to use your story against you?
I think that for me, I literally do not take what they're saying and put it on. So sometimes people say things about you, say things to you, and you just wear them like a coat. And I'm not doing that. There are people who could say like, oh, if you weren't wearing a short skirt, you wouldn't have been violated. That ain't for me. That's your ungodly perspective, because that's not a response from God. And so I think that first, I think it's very wise to not share your story with every and anybody.
Yeah.
I think that it's very important that you choose very wisely, especially that very first person that you share your story with, who that is. Why? Because you might still be in a vulnerable place. You might be just walking into those places of healing. And so you might not want to blast it all over social media, but you might share it with someone that you trust. Now, what happens is that after you share it with that one person and after you've gone through different layers of healing, what anybody has to say about your journey, you're so focused that it literally doesn't matter. So it's like, for me, if people are like, you don't need to be talking about this. I know what the Lord told me to do. I pray, I fast. I'm resolved in myself and who God has called me to be. So I'm going to do what the Lord told me to do. And so after a while, when you have journeyed into healing and been wise about who you share your story with, it doesn't matter what anybody thinks.
Yeah.
It just won't matter. And if it hurts you, submit it to God, because I've had people say things to me that really hurt my feelings. I had a family member who, I don't know how to chop this story up shortly, but there was a pastor that I knew that was doing very inappropriate things to people. And I believe that God has called me to call that out. And when I tried to give her the warning, a family member of mine gave my phone number to this pastor so that he could harass me. That hurts. I've had to submit that to God, because what I don't want to do is walk in unforgiveness. Like I don't get to be hurt, wounded, walking out of healing, and then you get to throw a dart at my heart and I'm going to wear it. And so I've been asking God, teach me how to guard my heart. That's a good pointer.
Yeah.
Teach me how to guard my heart, and do not allow me to wear the things that people have to say about what I've been through.